Good evening. The Board of Trustees of Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District is now convened in a regular meeting on Monday, August the 13th, 2012 in the boardroom of the Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District Instructional Support Center, 10,300 Jones Road, Houston, Texas, at 6 p.m. I want to welcome the members of our audience and our television viewers to this meeting of the Board of Trustees. As a Cypress-Fairbanks Board of Trustees, we are here to set goals, listen to reports from the superintendent, approve budgets, contracts, personnel appointments, and make policy for the district. It is not the role of the board to make day-to-day operational decisions. The management and day-to-day operations of the district are the responsibility of the superintendent. We have policies and procedures in place to resolve concerns and issues. This is a public meeting of the Board of Trustees, not a meeting of the public. Prior to this meeting, board members received information related to items on tonight's agenda. Agenda items will not necessarily be handled in the order listed on the notice. The meeting is open to all who wish to attend and hear the matters discussed. During the course of this meeting, the board may determine that a closed session is necessary. In that event, the board will meet in closed session to consider matters duly posted for this meeting as permitted by Section 551.071 to 551.084 inclusive of the Texas Government Code. These proceedings are airing live on CFTV Channel 16 and CFTV Online on the district website. They will also be rebroadcast throughout the month on Channel 16 and available on video on demand on the website. For the tape to adequately reflect the proceedings, I respectfully ask that you please refrain from talking while others are speaking and that cell phones are turned off or in silent mode. Would you please do that now if you have a cell phone? Thank you for taking the time to join us this evening and for your interest in the Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District. Tonight's invocation will be presented by Teresa Hull, Associate Superintendent for Governmental Relations, Communications, and Chief of Staff. Please stand for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
Let us pray. Tonight, just 2 weeks away from the first day of school, we offer this prayer for all of the students who will be under our watch this year. We pray each one experiences success in their learning as well as in their relationships with others. We thank you, God, for our teachers and bus drivers, our custodians and food service workers, and all other staff you have called to this profession. We ask that you provide them with the wisdom, patience, and steadfastness they will need to accomplish our goals this year. And God, we humbly ask that you provide all of our families with the resources they need to provide a safe and nurturing home for their children. Lord, please hold our troops in your loving, all-powerful hands. Protect them as they protect us. Bless them and their families for the selfless acts they perform for our community and our country in our time of need. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, you may be seated.
Before we get into the district vision, go ahead. We'll have the board member Christine Hartley read the district's vision and mission statement for the benefit of the audience.
Vision statement. The Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District will be an exemplary educational community dedicated to the highest standards of quality at all levels and in all areas of endeavor. All students, parents, community members, and district employees, respecting and valuing each other, will be committed to providing all students with an education which enables them to live successfully in an ever-changing society. The mission statement. The district will provide the environment and learning opportunities for all students so that as graduates they will possess the qualities which will enable them to live meaningfully and successfully in society and in the workplace. The graduate will be an effective communicator, a competent problem solver, a self-directed learner, a responsible citizen, and a quality producer. This is the portrait of the Cypress-Fairbanks graduate.
Thank you, Ms. Hartley. Helping us tonight on our AVP are from Jersey Village, Cypress Creek, and Cypress Woods High Schools, Shane O'Neill, Megan Whitfield, Lorena Gonzalez, Daniel Mulholland. And their advisors are Cindy Stoker, Jana Bullock, and Lori Andre. I didn't say that right, Lori. Anyway, thank you, Lori. Also tonight we have in our audience members of our Community Leadership Committee for Cy-Fair. Would y'all please stand as I call your name? Kelly Ray. Don't be embarrassed, Kelly. Craig Sharp. Leslie Martone. Did I do that right, Leslie? Thank you. Okay. Chuck Brandman and Gilbert Sarabia. Is there anybody I missed that may be here tonight? Okay. Thank y'all very much for coming. And if you don't know, this group gets together about every month and they learn more and more about the Cy-Fair School District, and we appreciate their volunteering. Thank you. We will now move on to the special announcement portion of the agenda. Recognitions, Dr. Henry.
Thank you, Mr. President. This month we have several employees to introduce in their new positions. First, I'd like to introduce our new associate superintendents. First, I'd like to introduce Deborah Stewart, our new Associate Superintendent for Human Resources and Student Services. Miss Stewart is our, and if she would stand, please. Miss Stewart is our new Associate Superintendent for Human Resources and Student Services. Deborah received her Bachelor's of Science and her Master's of Education degrees from Prairie View A&M. She is currently enrolled in the doctoral program at the University of Houston. Deborah began her 26-year CFISD career teaching at Cy-Fair High School for 7 years. She strayed for a while and went off to be a counselor in Klein ISD, but she returned 2 years later and was an assistant principal for 6 years, then director of student services for 8 years, and assistant superintendent of student services for the past 5 years. And Deborah, I'll give you the chance. Do you have the microphone over there to introduce any family members you have here and give you a chance to speak?
Well, I'm so excited. Dr. Henry, board members, can you hear me? Am I
No.
on?
There.
Thank you for this opportunity. I'm so excited to be a part of the leadership team, and you can guarantee that I will not fail you. I'm going to do a great job. Today I have some of my family with me. I actually have two brothers. One's on his way to Paris, and the other, not Paris, Texas, and the other is on his way to San Antonio. But with me tonight is my beautiful daughter, Kirby. Stand up, Kirby. Kirby just turned 20 on Sunday. And I have my sister, Cheryl, and my mother. If you all know anything about my mother, she's the Facebook texting queen. And then I have a host of family and friends from HR and student services. Will you stand, please? You may also stand. No, but thank you very much. I'll now turn this over to Roy. Thank you.
I'm gonna do one more introduction before I let Roy go.
Is you going to let him go?
Well, before I let
Sorry,
Roy
Roy.
speak.
Tough way to hear it, huh?
Next, I'd like to introduce Dr. Linda Macias, our new Associate Superintendent for Curriculum Instruction and Accountability. Linda received her bachelor's degree from Sam Houston State University, her master's in Educational Administration from Prairie View A&M, and her educational doctorate from the University of Houston. Linda began her teaching career with HISD, but moved to Cy-Fair after 5 years. She then taught at Yeager for 1 year before becoming our bilingual ESL coordinator for curriculum, then director of curriculum and instruction, and was assistant superintendent of elementary curriculum and instruction for the past 5 years, with a total of 14 years in Cy-Fair ISD. I'm proud to introduce Linda, and Linda, we're gonna give you a microphone, Linda, which scares all of us. So
Yes,
go
it
ahead.
should. It should. President Covey and trustees and Dr. Henry, thank you so much for this awesome opportunity and your trust and confidence in me to lead the Curriculum and Instruction and Accountability team. I am so excited to be able to be a part and be able to work with this awesome curriculum team, both at the elementary and secondary level, and also with our campus principals. You know, after you've been here for a while, one of the wonderful things about Cy-Fair is that you get to meet and be a part of some wonderful mentors and role models. You just can't help it. They're just all around you. And one of them is with me tonight. Deanna, please stand up. Stand for a second. And this is Deanna Swinky. And I just want to thank her for teaching me about curriculum and instruction, and most especially for teaching me to always make decisions that are best for kids. So thank you, Deanna, for that. I also want to thank my former supervisor, Roy Garcia, for always being supportive and patient with me. And I do have with me my husband. This is my husband, Bonifacio Macias, and we've been married for 27 years. That's a long time. And some...
He said,
Some people say he's an angel for being with me for that long. But every morning when I wake up next to him, I'm reminded that every single child that we teach can be successful. We just have to believe in them, because he himself was a child with many obstacles and many difficulties, and he could have been a statistic. So every day he reminds me of that. Thank you. So thank you again for this wonderful opportunity.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Deborah. And now we'll turn it over to Roy.
Deborah, you want me to come back to you? Okay. All right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Okay.
We're going to
ready?
get it straight.
At this time, I'm pleased to announce that Ife Ogwamake has been selected as the Assistant Superintendent for Student Services. Ife has 21 years of experience in the educational profession. She has served as special education teacher and assistant principal at Hamilton Middle School and director of instruction at Cypress Woods High School. Ife has served as a principal at Hamilton Middle School for the past 5 years. Please join me in congratulating Ife on her new leadership position. Ife.
Good evening,
The girls are...
Board of Trustees, Dr. Henry. I am so thankful for this opportunity, and I turned around and looked just a second, because they walked in right on cue. Stand up, girls. These are my two girls. They're actually the only family I have here. My husband's in Europe, and my two older daughters are in school. They're in college. I have one who just graduated. So I am so proud of the two of you. She just started driving, so this was huge. This is her second time driving on her own. So they got here safely. So girls, I'm very proud of you. I thank you so much for this opportunity. My last 21 years in Cy-Fair has been amazing. I've been blessed with just community of support on the campuses that I've worked at, and I'm looking forward to working with Cy-Fair, working within Cy-Fair and supporting our students and our community from a different vantage point. It's been a little bit tough, and I know I'm going to miss the Tigers, but I look forward to this new challenge. I do have, I believe, I do have Katie Corbett. She's Director of Instruction of Hamilton. She's here this evening, and I want to thank her for being here. And I have my new family, the Student Services team. I'm excited. They're a wonderful bunch, and I know that we'll be doing some amazing things together. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
Roy, would you like for me to turn it back over to you now?
Yes, that would be great. Thank you, Deborah.
You're welcome.
Dr. Henry, President Covey, and Board of Trustees, it is indeed an honor to introduce to you and to our CFISD community 4 of our newest principals. We'll begin tonight with introduction of the new principal for Goodson Middle School, Ms. Sherry McCaig. Sherry received her Bachelor of Science from Texas A&M University and her master's degree from Stephen F. Austin University. Sherry has 19 years of experience in the education profession. She served as a teacher in Giddings and Katy ISD before joining Cypress-Fairbanks. She serves as a teacher at Matsky, Horn, and Adam, and as an instructional specialist at Reed Elementary. The past 3 years, she served as an assistant principal at Goodson Middle School. Sherry has also served as a summer school principal. Sherry and her husband Greg have 2 sons, Stephen, who attends Texas State University, and Matthew.
Eat on my cats. I'm sorry. Excuse me. I lost it there. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. Sherry and her husband Greg have 2 sons, Stephen, who attends Texas State University, and Matthew, who will be a senior at Cypress Creek. Please join me in congratulating Sherry on her new leadership assignment.
Board of Trustees, Dr. Henry, thank you so much for the incredible opportunity to continue on at Goodson Middle School. I have the unique privilege of serving as an assistant principal for the last 3 years at Goodson and getting to stay and continue my service to the Goodson community. And it is such an honor and a thrill to be able to work with the staff that I've developed relationships with over the last 3 years and to continue that trust that I've developed with parents and with the community and with the kids. So I am so excited for this year and to get to stay at Goodson. I do have some family here that I would like to introduce. I have my husband, Greg McCagg. He is at Cy Creek. Stand up. Stand up. And my younger son, Matthew McCagg, and he's the one that's going to be a senior at Cy Creek. Yes, stand up. His older brother couldn't be with us. He's at Texas State right now. Then I have my dad, Wayne Hooks, and I come from a family of educators. My dad opened Cy Falls as the campus athletic director when it opened years ago and served there for 11 years before he retired from the district. Then my mom, Ellen Hooks, who's also a lifelong educator, bless her heart, taught 7th grade language arts for 30 years. And then my mother-in-law, Brenda McCagg. So thank y'all so much for being here to support me. And again, thank you so much for the opportunity. I look forward to continuing to work within this district.
Thank you, Sherry. Our next introduction is for the new principal for the Alternative Learning Center West, Ms. Stacy Wicke. Stacy received her Bachelor of Arts from Texas Lutheran College and her Master of Education from Stephen F. Austin University. Stacy has been in the education profession for 17 years. She taught in Poteet and Pleasanton ISD before joining Cypress-Fairbanks in 2002. After teaching 4 years at Jersey Village High School, Stacy was promoted to an assistant principal. She served in that position for 3 years and then was named the associate principal, a position she has held the past 7 years. Stacy has also served as a summer school principal. Stacy and her husband David have 9-year-old twin boys, Aiden and Bryce, who are going into the 4th grade at Hamilton. Please join me in congratulating Stacy on her new leadership assignment.
Dr. Henry, President Covey, and respected board members, thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. I've been very blessed. My parents are here, Jim and Emily Matheson, and when you talk about being lifelong educators and keeping schools going, my dad was always in maintenance, and he was actually in HVAC here, and so kept our schools cool within Cy-Fair, and my mother was a lifelong attendance clerk and registrar at Tomball High School, and so really kind of learning where the rubber meets the road and putting in. I've been doing master schedule with my mama for many years now, so I think I'm an old pro. I'm very blessed to have been a member of the Jersey Village family, and the people that were there, I really kind of grew up there, even though I'd started teaching elsewhere. And I've got some of my educational mamas and some chosen family that I am very blessed to have been supported, along with other friends and family. And it just touched my heart because my new ALC West family surprised me and have joined me here with my administrators, Lisa Ray, Kedrick Licato, and Kenneth Henry. And it has been an absolute blessing being named in the time frame that we have we wish it was June to be able to open, but we've been working tirelessly and really welcome the opportunity, and we're very excited to be able to serve the community on the west side, ALC West, and just make those dreams become a reality one choice at a time. So thank you very much for the wonderful opportunity.
Want to introduce your family? Well, we want to see them.
This is my husband, David. He teaches math and coaches at Cy Springs, so we're going to be a little bit closer. And here's the two blushing boys, Aiden and Bryce. They're Hamilton Lions. They're our famous baseball players in the family. So.
Thank you. Thank you, Stacy. Our next introduction is for the new principal for Hancock Elementary, Miss Nancy Rogers. Nancy received her Bachelor of Arts from Dillard University and her Master of Education from the University of New Orleans. Before joining Cypress-Fairbanks in 2007, Nancy served as a classroom teacher for 15 years, an assistant principal for 7 years, and an elementary principal for 9 years in the New Orleans Public Schools. As a member of the CFISD family, Nancy served as a reading specialist at Holbrook, a behavior specialist at Duryea and M. Robinson, and a classroom management consultant in the Student Services Department. Nancy and her husband Joel enjoy traveling. Please join me in congratulating Nancy on her new leadership assignment.
Thank you. Good evening, and I would also like to thank President Covey, the board, and Dr. Henry for this opportunity. I feel like I am very, very blessed and honored to be the principal of Hancock Elementary School, and I really look forward to working with the students, the staff, the parents, the community to realize the vision of Hancock. At this time, I have with me a lot of my family and friends, and I would like to introduce them to you. Let me introduce to you my husband, Joe Rogers, my sister here, Beverly Joseph, who also works with Cy-Fair, in Cy-Fair, her husband, Freddie, my brother-in-law. I also have with me a good friend of mine, Dolores Williams, and her grandson. I also have my two APs, Laurie Benson and Adrian Davis. I also have my godchild and also my nephew, Freddie, who's also an educator, and his wife, Beverly, who's also an educator, and their children, Laren and Freddie the III. And I really appreciate all of their support, all of their encouragement. They're always there with me. I also have some other family members who I'd like to particularly thank for being here and for also just being that source of encouragement and that source of support. And that is Gloria Cooper here. She has always been with me throughout my entire career at Cy-Fair, even when I came in 2007. And she would always be that support behind the scenes. And I'd always wonder, who is this lady, Gloria Cooper, who seems to be supporting me every time at every turn? And I'd like to certainly thank her for that. I'd also like to thank all of my Student Services family, who I will miss deeply. I'd like to thank Deborah Stewart, who has been that constant inspiration for me. I really appreciate it. And certainly, last but not least, I would like to thank Linda Macias, Roy Garcia, and Donna Guthrie for providing this opportunity for me and for putting this trust and confidence in me to be the principal of Hancock. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Our final introduction this evening is for Horn Elementary School and their new principal, Mrs. Stephanie Thomas. Stephanie received her Bachelor of Science from the University of Houston and her Master in Education from Sam Houston State University. Stephanie served as a 5th grade math and science teacher for 1 year in Alief ISD. In 2001, she joined Cypress-Fairbanks at Reed Elementary. In her 5 years at Reed, she served as a 2nd and 3rd grade reading and math teacher, team leader, and at-risk specialists. For the past 6 years, she served as an assistant principal at Horn. Stephanie also served as a summer school principal. Stephanie and her husband James have 6 children: Caitlin, who is 18, Emily, 16, Morgan, 15, Michael, 13, Jacob, and John, 9. They attend Langham Creek, Aragon, and Lowry Elementary. Please join me in congratulating Stephanie on her new leadership assignment.
We get that a lot, actually. First of all, thank you, Mr. Garcia. Thank you, President Covey, Board of Trustees, and Dr. Henry. I am very excited to have the opportunity to continue to work with the dedicated staff, families, and community of Horn Elementary. They have definitely been a part of my family for the last 6 years, and I look forward to continuing to work as a team with them to help Horn become one of the most successful schools in Cypher ISD. Today, I have my support group who support me all the way and help keep me honest as well. I have my mother, Elaine Harbor, has joined us this evening, as well as Mr. James Thomas, who's always by my side. And I have my twins, John and Jacob, Michael, and my daughter, Morgan, as well. The other two, they're off doing their own thing with jobs at this time. 4 of the 6. But thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm very excited. I'm thrilled, and it's going to be an amazing year for Horn and Cypher.
Before we take a break, I noticed that there is a scout troop that's joined us. So, sir, could you take the microphone over to them and let them introduce themselves, the scout troop that's joined us tonight?
My name's Martin Stakes. I'm the Scoutmaster with Troop 1944. We've got a number of our boys here tonight, and they're working on their Communications Merit Badge. So they're here to observe, see what's going on here. We meet Mondays, so tonight we're not having a troop meeting. In fact, the troop meeting's here for most of them, down at Jersey Village Church of Christ, right down Jones Road here. Most of our boys here go to Cy Ridge, Campbell, Cook, yeah, and a few others.
Thank you. We're glad you're here. Thank you very much. Also, another member of our CLC committee just came in, Kevin Hoffman. Where are you sitting, Kevin? There, Kevin came in. Thanks for being here, Kevin. We're going to take a brief break so we can congratulate and condolence some of these people that took these positions. And then if you're just really determined, we will go into our meeting, and you can certainly come back and join us. About 10 minutes. Any board member may make a comment during this portion of the agenda without prior posting being required. Comment items may not pertain to the character of any student, staff, or board member and may not be discussed or deliberated upon at this time. Do you have any board member that want to make comments? Looking to the left. Christine?
I want to first say congratulations to all our new principals, and I'm so excited to see the new faces, and because I feel like I'm one, so we're all in this together. We recently, Mr. Jackson and I recently attended an institute that's put on for new board members, and it was from all the large districts in Texas. And as we were studying these case studies of other districts, issues they've had, different things, we were handed a piece of paper, we were reviewing a piece of paper that had spending per student for 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008. And as we looked at the numbers, the lady next to me that was from San Antonio said, "Is this right?" And I said, "Well, actually it is." And because Cypher was funded below Klein, Katy, Houston, Spring, Tomball, it's been going on this long, the inequitable funding. You know, we see the cuts, we see how it's affecting us. So I encourage everybody to pay attention to what's going on in Austin. Pay attention when you vote this year. Make the Cypher voice loud and clear. that we will not put up with this inequitable funding anymore. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hartley. Anyone else? Mr. Jackson.
Ms. Hartley generally reminds everybody to tune in to the Thursday night edition of the board meeting, but since she didn't, I will recommend to everybody, please take a look. It was a very long board meeting. We did cover a tremendous amount of ground. There is an intriguing discussion on AYP, both the facts that present things in less than a good light, but also facts that show that things are much better than they appear. We also had some very good discussions on technology and how technology issues, although not of the making of this district, were resolved by this district. And I urge everybody, and that includes all stakeholders, teachers as well as parents, interested citizens, to take a look at the Thursday night session. It's long, it's a little tedious in spots, but we did cover considerable ground. Thank you.
Any other board members? I just wanted to back up what Mr. Jackson just said, because I think it's absolutely wonderful, because we did not televise it Thursday night, and it is recorded, but it's going to be being played. And then you can also go online and stream it. Most of you can. I don't know how to do that, but I think everybody else knows how to. So I appreciate that, and I also want to welcome back all the teachers that have come back to the district and welcome the new ones that are going to be here. So we're thrilled to have you and look forward to getting to know some of you and coming into your schools again. Next up, we have citizen participation. Patrons who have duly registered per policy BED local may address the board regarding matters of concern or interest to the district other than the character of any student, staff, or board member. I would like to remind the audience and the viewers that the comments of the speakers reflect their own positions or opinions. The board may not discuss or act upon any matter that is not listed under the action item portion of the agenda. Therefore, board members may not discuss the comments of speakers. Please understand that a lack of a response from the board members does not indicate agreement or approval of the comments. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes to address the board. Mr. Don Ryan, Secretary of the Board, will be the designated timekeeper. Tonight, I believe that we have 3 speakers, and we'll tell you, if you've never spoke for us before, we have on the board up here a yellow, a green, and a red light. When you start, the green light comes on, and you will be given 2.5 minutes, and then the yellow light comes on to let you know there's 30 seconds left. And when the red light comes on, we'd like for you to complete what your thoughts are, and we appreciate everybody trying to abide by that. First up is Leslie Martone. Leslie?
Good evening, Dr. Henry, President Covey, and other trustees. I'm so happy to be here. My name is Leslie Martone. I'm the president of the Cypher Houston Chamber of Commerce, and I'm here just to show on record that our board of directors, we took our resolution that you guys adopted for the high stakes testing, and we took it to our board to add it to our legislative priorities, and with 100% support, they supported it, and we will be adding it to our legislative priorities. So just wanted to go on record today and let you guys know that. Thank you,
Leslie. Next up is Mark Malloy.
My name is Mark Malloy, and I'm a resident and recent past city councilman of the city of Jersey Village. I'm here tonight to ask each of the Cy-Fair School Board members and school superintendent to help the current and future students of post-elementary and Jersey Village High School by writing the Texas Department of Transportation, our U.S. Representative, Mr. John Culberson, our State Representative, Mr. Gary Elkins, and our State Senator, Mr. Dan Patrick. I have provided a link with a form letter for all of the above-mentioned elected officials. TxDOT is doing a focused reevaluation of the current environmental impact statement associated with the US 290 expansion construction plan. The main lanes of the Harris County Toll Road and TxDOT feeder lanes are very close to the Post Elementary School and Jersey Village High School. The roadway noise is already intrusive and is only going to get much worse if effective noise abatement designs are not built during this Type 1 major expansion reconstruction project. Please help our students and community. Please read through all the information I have provided. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Malloy. Our final speaker is Dr. Francis Smith.
Good evening, President Covey, board members, and Dr. Henry. Much of the world has had a wonderful respite for the last 2 weeks from daily cares through watching the Olympics and rejoicing at the wonders of the astonishing feats of the Olympians. Now, however, we are back to the harsh realities of public school finances and knowing that the Rainy Day Fund will soon have $8.3 billion, which was what was predicted last year when Texas educators pleaded with our state legislative leadership to not leave us with a $5.4 billion deficit. Predictably, they did not listen to us, and the loss of classroom teachers with the resulting huge classes, loss of programs for special populations, loss of library personnel, and cuts of every sort that made life more difficult for all students, but especially those with special needs and for our teachers. Not pleasant thoughts. During the last recent political debates, it was very easy to realize who supports public education and who doesn't. It has become a battle of the richest 1% who believe they have the right to spend as much PAC money as needed to elect those who believe in small federal government, want to demolish the federal agencies that take care of education and commerce, for instance, and let a capitalistic education war between public and private schools take place. They do not want to pay taxes for the public good and appear to refuse to do the work needed to actually restructure the tax system, which is exactly what they need to do. Most private schools are extolled as supposedly providing better educations. However, they have the advantage of being able to charge what they need, knowing the ability of their clients to pay. They admit only those who meet their criteria of being good students. They can actually have classes of 15 because they have the money to afford this. They do not have to be bound by state and federal mandates, and when they test, they can use the standardized tests that have withstood the test of time. Those of us in this room know the realities of what public schools are legally required to do. Even though a free public education is not in the Constitution, there are overwhelming reasons to justify it as a public necessity. We simply have too many students in this country who, if not educated, will become an underclass, unemployable, and desperate to survive. There is absolutely no reasonable alternative to public schools. According to state and federal statistics, Texas ranks toward the bottom for uninsured, 25%, more adults without high school diplomas, low per capita spending on mental health, low numbers covered by workers' compensation, and Texas ranks 49th for hungry families labeled food insecure. For jobs, Texas has the third highest percentage of minimum wage hourly workers. Let us agree that Texas must make public education a priority, or our future is in doubt. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. The following action items have been placed on the consensus portion of the agenda. 4A, the board will consider approving bids and contracts to the recommended vendors and authorize the superintendent, respective associate superintendent, or designee to execute all necessary documents related to such bids and contracts. There's no presentation, but questions are allowed. Do we have any questions? Yes, Mr. Jackson? I didn't read the list. Do you want me to let me read the list first. I'm sorry. Art paper. Number 2, audiovisual equipment for the Berry Center. 3, automotive chemicals, parts, and supplies. 4, concession beverages, food service department. 5, excess workers' compensation insurance. 6, facility management software system. 7, fencing. 8, frozen pizza, food service department. 9, HVAC air filters. 10, insurance, basic life, AD&D, and supplemental life, renewal period 6. Number 11, MS Office License Agreement, renewal year 2 of 3. 12, paint and miscellaneous supplies. 13, security badges and printing supplies. 14, software license and maintenance renewal expansion. 15, specialized educational services. Mr. Jackson.
I would like to ask a question regarding item number 14, software license and maintenance renewal / expansion. I understand that this is a renewal, but it's also the largest item on the list of items that we have to consider for approval. I wanted to ask Dr. Macias if she would briefly explain what the software covers. It's my understanding that this software is largely dedicated toward Title I campuses, its compensatory funds, but is it possible that we can extend this to other campuses? Because it strikes me that we have struggling students at all of our campuses, and perhaps they too might benefit.
Yes, Mr. Jackson, there are several software pieces that are in this section. One of them is the ISEP early reading assessment, and it's assessment that we give to all of our students in the primary grades. It's a reading assessment. And then we also have a fact fluency, which is part of the Fast Math through Scholastic, that is an intervention to help our students with math facts, and it's available during the school day as well as at home. And there's also a science piece in there that's also available at school and as well at home, which is a gizmo. And actually that's science and math. It's higher level thinking, problem solving type math. And then there's the Achieve 3000, which is another reading program that's a challenging program for not only our kids who are struggling, but also to challenge our kids who need that extra challenge. The programs you are correct, they're at our Title I schools. However, we have expanded, this is part of the expansion, we've expanded the program to be able to place them at our non-Title I campuses, but to only be used with our at-risk students. So that's how we can use our state compet money as well there. So there's so many licenses that are given to our non-Title I campuses to be used with the at-risk students.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Moving along to B, the board will consider approving on second reading additions, deletions, and revision to district policies. Again, no presentation. Questions? Do we have any questions from board members? Moving on. I'm sorry, that was GKD Local Community Relations, Non-School Use of School Facilities, revise. C, the board will consider extending the time period allowed for Life Bridge Church to rent facilities at Smith Middle School per GKD Local by 3 months. Do we have any questions on this? Anybody? Okay, moving on. D, the board will consider approving the tax refunds of $500 or greater for Cypress-Fairbanks ISD. Do we have any questions on that? Mr. Jackson?
This is actually an indirect question. There is absolutely nothing of any interest on this list. This is probably the smallest list we have ever seen in any month. However, when I was at this new trustee seminar, a representative from a district very close to ours but not adjacent to ours wanted to talk about our review of refunds and questioned whether or not our refunds, say, that would go to different businesses were valid or not, and I assured him that they were. What I really wanted to talk to him about is the fact that our test scores were much better than the district he represented, and the funding of that particular district was greater than ours. And I have no need to mention the name of the district, but Mr. Snow, I did ask you to compare the two districts, and does that other district receive more money per child than we do?
Absolutely not.
They receive less money than we do?
They receive more money than we do.
And approximately how much more money per child do they receive?
It was about $600 per child, if I recall.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Anything else? The board will consider approving the minutes of the June 28, 2012 special called meeting. Do we have any questions on that? If any board member wishes to remove one or more items for further discussion, please do so at this time. If not, I will entertain a motion to approve the consensus items as recommended or amended.
I move that we approve the consensus items as recommended or amended.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan. A second? Second. Thank you, Ms. Hartley. All in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you. That's unanimous on here. The following action items have been placed on the non-consensus portion of the agenda. Action items on non-consent, the board will consider approving on first reading additions, deletions, and revisions to district policies. 1, DIA local employee welfare, freedom from discrimination, harassment, and retaliation, revise. 2, FB local, equal educational opportunity, revise. 3, FFH local, student welfare, freedom from discrimination, harassment, and retaliation, revised. Do we have any questions on those three? No? Moving along. The board will consider approving a resolution supporting, let me go back. We need to have a vote. Can I have a motion to accept?
You want a motion is what you want?
I want a motion. That's what I want.
Okay. I move that the board approve on first reading additions, deletions, and revisions to district policies, DIA local, employee welfare, freedom from discrimination, harassment, and retaliation, FB local, equal educational opportunity, FFH local, student welfare, freedom from discrimination, harassment, and retaliation.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan. Do I have a second? Thank you, Ms. Jackson. All in favor, raise your right hand. That's unanimous. Thank you. The board will consider approving a resolution supporting the application of Emerson Process Management Valve Automation to the U.S. Foreign Trade Zone Board and to provide a letter of non-objection for such purpose. Presenter is Stuart Snow and Karen Smith. Mr. Snow.
Thank you, President Covey, members of the board, and Dr. Henry. I'm still trying to make the correlation between the tax refunds and test scores and funding levels. So, moving on. Thank you. If you recall, I sent a memorandum to you in late May describing Emerson Process Management Valve Automation's request for district approval of its designation as a foreign trade subzone. Emerson Process Management is a subsidiary of Emerson Electric, which is a Fortune 500 diversified global manufacturing and technology company that serves industrial, commercial, and consumer markets worldwide. Emerson has developed an economic development strategy to streamline its operations and reduce its supply costs for its valve automation manufacturing division, which is represented in the request for foreign trade zone. That economic development strategy includes consolidating its greater Houston operations into a World Area Configuration Center facility that's located in Cypher on US 290. This consolidation represents a total capital investment of $27.3 million for the acquisition of land in the existing building, as well as new facility construction and machinery and equipment purchases, all expected to be completed by May of 2013, I believe. Emerson's annual product inventory is estimated to average $20 million. The acquisition and the expansion of the 290 facility will provide approximately 125 new engineering and manufacturing jobs, as well as the retention of 320 existing jobs. The foreign trade subzone designation will provide a financial incentive for Emerson to reduce its overall tax and duty liability. And for your information, a foreign trade zone, or FTZ, provides special customs procedures to United States companies that are engaged in international trade-related activities. FTZs are considered to be outside of the U.S. customs territory and considered a foreign country, actually, for the purpose of customs duty payment. Therefore, goods that are entering the FTZs are not subject to the customs tariffs until the goods leave the zone and are formally entered into the U.S. Customs territory. And then merchandise that is shipped to foreign countries from an FTZ is exempt from duty payments as well. Goods that are stored inside a foreign trade zone in tangible personal property that's produced in the United States and held in a foreign trade zone for exportation is exempt from ad valorem taxation, which allows companies then to minimize their costs while their products are being waiting to be shipped out. A requirement of the U.S. Foreign Trade Zone Board for companies to qualify for designation as a foreign trade zone is to meet with the representatives of all of the local taxing entities in which the foreign trade zone is located, and then obtain letters of either concurrence or non-objection from that governmental entity in which the foreign trade zone is located. Emerson has been working with the Harris County Community Services Department to support a foreign trade zone letter of non-objection, and they have filed an application with the U.S. Department of Commerce Foreign Trade Zones Board through the Port of Houston Authority, acting as the grantee for Foreign Trade Zone number 84. In addition, Emerson is also seeking a letter of non-objection from CFISD as well. The financial impact to Cyfair related to the exemption of the inventory property tax as well as the state revenue should be minimal. Emerson's investment of the $27 million for the real property facility will remain subject to taxation and should generate over $390,000 of tax revenue annually at the current tax rate, depending upon the value that's assigned and determined by the Harris County Appraisal District. The exemption of the $20 million, $20 million of inventory is estimated to be approximately $290,000. And so based on the on Emerson's proposed economic development plan, the impact on the Cyfair community is expected really to improve local business climate. It should augment international trade, should create demand for additional distribution and logistics infrastructure, and improve really the competitiveness of the area manufacturers and the technology companies that are in this area. Emerson also plans to be highly active in charitable activities, including its planned support and partnership with Cyfair School District, as well as the Cyfair Educational Foundation. In fact, Emerson has recently already joined the Cyfair Houston Chamber of Commerce at the highest membership level. For these reasons, and with consideration of the minimal tax impact to CFISD, we are recommending that you approve a resolution supporting Emerson's application to the U.S. Foreign Trade Zones Board and to provide a letter of non-objection for Emerson to qualify for a foreign trade subzone. I would like to introduce some folks here tonight. Representing Emerson is James Wilkins. James is the worldwide headquarters controller. Tony Shum with Duff & Phelps. Duff & Phelps is the financial consultant and tax agent for Emerson. And also here tonight is our tax attorney, Tanya Erickson Wood, with Linebarger, Gogan, Blair, and Sampson. And these gentlemen and lady can answer any of your questions. So with that, I invite you to ask questions.
Thanks, Stuart. Any questions? Mr. Ryan.
Stuart, probably with you, because at first, how is this, so we're not going to be taxing their inventory?
Correct.
And how is that different from the Freeport exemption that we've had in place?
There's really no difference in the Freeport exemption. They do qualify for Freeport exemption. However, because of the international trade that they're involved in and the shipment of that inventory outside of the United States and the import of that, they're asking for the foreign trade zone designation. They can, if you choose not to approve the resolution, to provide a letter of non-objection for them. They do qualify for the Freeport exemption and would, I suspect, would continue to take that avenue. And therefore, their inventory would also be not subject to taxation under the Freeport exemption.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Mr. Jackson.
This is nothing more than a perfunctory question, but I think it's one that we have to ask on a transaction similar to this. I presume that there are no conflict of interest in terms of potential related parties between the company and the board of directors?
No, sir.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I probably am just going to ask this question, but can you tell me just a little bit, and I'm sorry, Stuart, I think I went off somewhere while you were talking there, but could you explain?
It was easy
because
to do, I know.
I'm sorry.
It was easy to go off.
I think you're bringing in some raw material and you're going to fabricate it here and then ship it back out. Is that correct?
Correct, internationally, so it will bring the jobs actually to Houston for stuff that's actually going to ship internationally.
Good. And because you're asking for this, there has to be total traceability of everything that's coming in and everything that's going out.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate y'all being here. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Jackson.
I would move that the Board of Trustees approve a resolution supporting the application by Emerson Process Management Valve Automation to the U.S. Foreign Trade Zone Board and to provide a letter of non-objection for such purpose.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Can I have a second? Thank you, Ms. Hartley. All in favor, raise your right hand. That's unanimous. Thank you. The board will consider approving the 2012-2013 Cypress-Fairbanks ISD Student Code of Conduct. Questions only. Do we have questions on this? May I have a motion?
I move that the board approve the 2011-2012 Cypress-Fairbanks ISD Student Code of Conduct.
A second, please.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. All in favor, raise your right hand. It's unanimous. The board will consider approving the memorandum of understanding between Harris County Juvenile Board and the Cypress-Fairbanks ISD to participate in the JJAEP for the 2012-2013 school year. We have questions. We had a presentation the other night. Questions from anybody? Can I have a motion?
Mr. President, I move that the board approve the memorandum of understanding between Harris County Juvenile Board and the Cypress-Fairbanks ISD to participate in the JJAEP for the 2012-2013 school year.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan. Do I have a second? Thank you, Ms. Hartley. All in favor, raise your right hand. That's unanimous. Thank you. Okay, these next two items are two different, and they're for the same position. So we're going to have to vote for one and for the other. Now, did everybody look at the resume on both of these people? Did you read the resumes? Since Ms. Woodall is not here, I will tell you that Ms. Woodall said that she had worked with Benny May on TASB board on a number of different projects, and she felt that Benny May would be an excellent choice. And since she was the one that had worked with him, I wanted to share that with you. Okay? So, going on to E. The board will consider the endorsement of candidacy of Ron Cryer, Spring ISD, on the TASB Board of Directors for position 4A. Can I have a motion for that?
Mr. President, I move that the board endorse Ron Cryer from Spring ISD for position 4A on the TASB Board of Directors.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Jackson. All in favor, raise your right hand.
Are we voting for?
You got to vote for one or the other, and that's why there's two agenda
Why is
items.
one on 4A and one on 4C?
Well, that's just how it was entered under agenda items.
Okay, all
Okay.
right. So one of these
Two
people
separate.
is not going to win.
That's right.
That's all you had to say. All you had to say. I'm still in the Olympic spirit. Okay, no, we got the motion and the second, we just got to have the vote now.
That's right. All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, all opposed, raise your right hand. I guess we're opposed now. Okay, so that's unanimous, all of us?
No, he abstained.
You abstained, excuse me. I didn't see that, excuse me, Bill. Okay, the board will consider the endorsement of candidacy of Benny May, Barbers Hill ISD, for the TASB Board of Directors for position 4C. All in favor? May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion. It's like Jeopardy, I got to get to my button really fast.
Okay.
I move that the board endorse Benny May from Barbers Hill ISD for position 4C on the TASB Board of Directors.
Okay, I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, raise your right hand. And any opposed? And one abstention. Okay. The board will consider approving a resolution to participate, resolution? Excuse me. The board will consider approving a resolution to participate in the Texas Association of School Boards Risk Management Fund and authorize a superintendent, respective associate superintendent, or designee to execute all necessary documents related to the TASB Risk Management Fund. Do we have any questions on this? Can I have a motion?
Mr. President, I move that the board approve a resolution to participate in the TASB Risk Management Fund and authorize the superintendent, respective associate superintendent, or designee to execute all necessary documents related to the TASB Risk Management Fund.
Do I have a second? Mr. Morris, thank you. All in favor, raise your right hand. And that's unanimous. Thank you. The board is going to go into closed session, but before we go into a closed session, we are going to move on to the superintendent's briefing. Dr. Henry?
Mr. President, I really don't have a briefing today. I would just add two little quick items that on August 16th, all of our new teachers will be joining us that are new to Cypher ISD, and then next Monday, which is the 20th, all of our teachers will be returning to work. And then on August 27th is the first day of school for all students. And that concludes my briefing.
Thank you.
Brief.
That's brief. It is brief. Okay. Okay. The board will now go into a closed session, and I believe I have to have a motion to do that. So may I have a motion to go into? Do I have a second? Okay, it was a tie between Mr. Morris and Ms. Hartley. All in favor, raise your right hand. And we're going into closed session. If you want to stay and see us come out, you're certainly welcome to. If you want to leave, you're certainly welcome to do that too. Thank you all for coming.